So I'm Ian Lowe. I work at Okta and lead the field solution and field marketing group for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. As you can tell, my accent is not a native British accent, but I've been living here for 20 years. I'm actually a Canadian out of Vancouver, but I've been in the identity space, and we'll get to this in a second, for over 20 years. Sophie.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm from Macclesfield up in the northwest, but I've been living in London for years. Did a stint living in Madrid, actually. Fantastic in the late 80s. Had such a blast. I am founder of a consultancy called Passo, where we talk about marketing, data, automation, customer experience. And I've been working with Okta, thinking about how the Okta solution can be really powerful for marketers, not just for workforce identity, but actually in a B2C setting, as well as B2B. My last job, I was Senior Vice President of Product for Marketing Cloud at Salesforce, and prior to that, I was CMO at Ticketmaster International. So that's kind of my background, I guess.
Wonderful, thank you. So is everyone familiar with Okta, or has anyone heard of Okta? Raise your hands. A few, okay, not too many. So if you go into work every day, you might use your username and password to log into your laptop, whether that's a Microsoft-based one or an Apple-based one. Sometimes you might have to use a biometric to log in on top of that. That's called MFA. That's probably what Okta is best known for, is enabling that user experience around security on the workforce side. But we're not actually here to talk to you about that today. We're here to talk to you more around what we call customer identity. So anyone purchased Nando's recently using the Nando's app? Raise a hand. Any hands? One?
Nobody wants to admit it. It's like, yes, every night.
I love Nando's. So if you log in to Nando's, that's Okta enabling that login for you. Or when you logged in and registered your account, that's Okta. If you log into pretty much any major brand, we have over 18,000 customers. We enable marketers and developers to build that great customer experience around account registration. So why are we here today? What the heck does identity have to do with marketing, with customer experience, with branding, if anything? Well, according to a recent PwC survey, around 32% of our customers say that they will walk away from our brand if we don't give them a great experience. And that great experience starts with that first point of registration, or that first point that they have to log in. And when they have a bad experience right there and then at the start, they might not move any further along the journey where you need them to be. So what I want to get to, and we have Sophie here representing you all as marketers. I'm more on the technical side.
I'm going to try. Okay.
We, as marketers, are all superheroes at the end of the day. Sophie, as a CMO, or ex-CMO, as a practitioner, tell me why everyone in this room is really a superhero.
Well, of course you are. Of course you are. But I do think that marketers have to be superheroes. You know, in the past, we used to think it was about brand and creative. There's another session right now going on about generating ROI with content. I think, you know, marketing has changed arguably more in the last 3 years than it has in the last 30. Think about the kind of balkanization of channels and content and influencers and micro-communities. And, you know, it's maybe, certainly in a B2C world, much harder. And I think in a B2B world, much more competitive and challenging than it ever has been. But I think it's not just about compelling content and brand, but it's also about acquisition and ROI. We've talked about that. You know, it's easier to kind of deal with a customer that you've already got and sell them more things, you know, cross-sell and upsell more. And also the cost of acquiring a customer is very expensive. The bottom line is you are under pressure to transform into a customer-centric business when maybe you don't have a data or technical team. So it's like, we've got to be customer-centric. You know, your marketers, make us customer-centric. A little bit difficult if you don't have that support, or if all of your requests to your technology team are, you know, answered with a, well, yeah, we'll put it on the backlog kind of thing, right? Like, you know, wrangling your own data, your own customer data can be really tough, and I think that's difficult. You're responsible for how the brand shows up in the world. And you are currently being asked to do a lot more with a lot less. So I think you are superheroes. There's a lot going on, and you are the people who are really responsible for growing the business. The one thing I would say is that modern marketing, and that means all of you in this room, is much more reliant on, you know, technical capability and technical delivery. It's as much about technical delivery as it is about brand and creative. And I think that's really difficult. That's why you have to be a superhero, because you've got to hold both of those things, right, in your mind. And not just in your mind, but you've got to develop expertise in both those areas. To a certain extent, a CMO has to become a functional CTO.
Absolutely, and we're seeing that with our customers every day. This commingling and intermingling between like groups that were very siloed and separated now have to work together to build that great customer experience. So we as marketing superheroes are making this magic happen. This customer experience really matters, right, for us, and that's how we differentiate. That's how we, sell more at the end of the day. We know that over half of consumers will abandon their carts if they have a bad login experience. And at the start of the discussion, we stated that customer experience is the new face of marketing, or is the new way to market to our customers. And can you dig in? I guess could you dig into that a little bit more for us? What does that mean? Go into customer experience.
Well, first of all, I just want to say bye cookie, because I love this slide. It's coming, no matter that Google keep kicking it into the long grass because they make so much money out of you using third-party cookies to advertise. They make a huge amount of their money from that. But customer experience, I think, is important because, think of the last bad experience you had with a brand. Every brand now, and that's whether it's B2B or B2C, is under scrutiny. You have to execute your core service really well. And as soon as you don't, you're in trouble. And that can be about the delivery, it can be about the login, it can be about frustrations along the way. But often, we're in this always-on world, right? The barriers to entry in pretty much everything have become much lower. So the ability for me to find an alternative service or product to anything that you guys in this room do is very easy now. I mean, unless, I don't know, you build cargo ships. I don't know how many companies in the world build massive cargo ships. Probably not that many, right? There's certain companies and businesses where it's hard to suddenly get into. But for most of the rest of us, those barriers dropped. I think somebody from AWS is in the room, and that ability to do large computing is one of those reasons that have, dropped the barriers to entry. So, I mean, customer experience as well, I think, just talking about that really is this hyper-adoption and hyper-abandonment, really. I think that's why it matters.
And we got a couple of great examples to I guess, bring this to life. And I mentioned Nando's earlier. I'm just going to use that one again. So they were having real problems with retention and acquisition of their customers for their digital experience, for their journey online on their app. And what they were troubled with is, are we collecting too much data up front from our customer? Are we asking them too many questions initially when they register?
Yes.
And the answer was yes, absolutely. So how do we collect data? Well, while we're moving towards a world where we don't have third-party cookie data to access any further, how do we get more data on our customers that we can use to build these better experiences? And one of the way that they do this, one of the way that we can help you do this now is through progressive profiling, the ability to thoughtfully ask the right amount of questions at the right time through the journey on that app or that website. So instead of asking them for their first name, their last name, their email address, their personal address and location all up front, you can ask these questions over a period of time. So maybe right at the first initial login and registration experience, you only ask for the email, for example.
And Ian, the thing that I really like about that with Okta, okay, so the thing about progressive profiling is your hearts are already sinking, thinking, God, I've got to go to the CTO or the CIO, I've got to tell them this is what I want to do, and we're going to have to wait, it's going to take about a year, it's going to be really difficult. But if you've got Okta enabled, then actually this can be clicks, not code, in the hands of your marketing department. So you can do a new campaign for a particular product or service, and you can say, well, let's test out progressive profiling on this. And you can design the different ways and the different triggers that are going to, when you want to ask those extra questions, you can design how it's going to pop up, how it's going to look, and it's in your hands. You're not waiting on a technical team to deliver to you, right? Because I think for most marketers I speak to, that's a massive frustration. And that collaboration with technical teams can really feel like it's dragging you down. It's like a sea anchor behind you, dragging you away from the things you want to do as marketers, right, with data and consumers. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for that. And another great example is who's heard of IKEA? Who shops at IKEA?
Pretty much everything in my house.
So IKEA is one of our over 18,000 customers, and recently they were presenting at Octane, which is we host a big probably the largest identity event of the year around the world. It's in Moscone Center. It's in San Francisco. It happened a couple of weeks ago, and IKEA was presenting there. And for IKEA, identity is an accelerator for their omni-channel retailing. And so they want to deliver this great experience that's not only online in their mobile app, but when you walk into the store, they want to be able to connect that experience with the mobile experience. And so that's what we help them do today. They want to make it personal and relevant to their family. And the IKEA loyalty program is called the IKEA family. And they want to build those great experiences. And they want to provide and capture a 360 view of the customer wherever that customer may be, whether they're online or in the store. So for example, if you were looking at something online in the app and you walk into the store will know that based on the app's location using the phone, and it will help guide the customer to the location of where that product was that they were looking at. It'll help them to buy the product without having to go to the checkout counter through the app instead of seeing somebody. So these are the connected experiences that can happen when you start with identity and you build identity into that journey and that experience that you're looking to build. And understanding their customer and the experiences that they envision and they're trying to build for them, IKEA is really taking a foundational step in being thoughtful around how they use customer identity and how they build their experiences around that.
I mean, I think the exciting thing is it's not just about retail, although the retail story with frictionless logins and progressive profiling is really powerful, right? So I can't remember that somebody from your sales team actually presented to me about the difference it made, and it was like an eye-popping number, like 40% uptick in conversions off of, website visits just from, getting this sorted and doing it really well. But I think, secure, compliant customer or client data should sit at the heart of every marketing leader's strategy. So whether you're in a B2B role in, selling accountancy services or legal services, or whether you're selling, wooden flat pack furniture, secure, compliant data is really, really important. It has to sit at the center of your strategy.
So that leads us nicely on to the next question.
Oh, does it?
Well, yeah, why is customer identity the new currency of marketing?
Well, and trust is the new, trust really, I think, money is the currency of transactions, but trust is the currency of interactions. And I think
Love it.
Being secure and being compliant and being very clear about that to your end client is really important as well. I was really lucky when I was at Ticketmaster. I was really lucky because we lost our CIO. And I was an internal client of the technology teams because I wanted to have a customer data warehouse for Ticketmaster. Think of all of these people buying all of these tickets across 18 markets, and we had loads of different platforms. We were very acquisitive. And I was super lucky because the CIO went, and a friend of mine who was on the executive team said to the president, just let Sophie do the customer data warehousing because she's going to be a pain in your ass. If you give it to someone else, it's just you're never going to hear the end of it. So I kind of got not the IT team, but the team that were the data team. And it was extraordinary, I mean, the collaboration I think that I exhort marketing leaders to seek is the collaboration I tripped over my shoelaces into because I was my own customer. I was my own intern. I had to serve myself with the data. I had to make sure it was actionable. And I think the thing about collecting really good quality, secure, compliant customer data is super important because you want to put actionable data into the hands of your marketers, right? And feel very confident about how they're using it. And also, I think, particularly if you're in FinServ or legal or if you're in health or wellness, I think a deterministic identity rather than a probabilistic one is really important. You don't need just going, well, I think it's probably the same person. I'll recommend these medicines to them. It's really important. So I think for me, I was very lucky that I was my own internal servant, if you like, in gathering and making data actionable.
So you lost the CIO. Have they been found yet?
I won't say well, anyway, they exited the business, and I was really lucky to pick up that part.
Sorry about that. Moving on to what we're here to talk about. I guess it's interesting around customer data, right? Customer data, especially in very large organizations, while it's easy to collect for your own initial department or org, it's quite easy to build that customer profile. But maybe you're a growing business and you're acquiring companies, and then it becomes a lot more difficult, right?
Yeah.
It's amplified in terms of the difficulties there. And so we have a great example of one customer.
Oh, yeah, I love this.
Yeah, I'm going to play a
Unified
video
experience across brands,
in terms of collecting and unifying your experience through the customer data that you have, and that's Virgin Media O2. And so I'm going to let Fortune here from VMO2 talk about that.
I like Fortune, he's fun.
He is fun.
I hope it works.
I hope it works.
Oh. Yeah.
Today, connectivity is like having tap water at home. You expect to have it. It's there.
Virgin Media O2 helps facilitate people to live their day-to-day lives. You want to be able to phone your loved ones. You want to be able to sit down at home and watch TV or record your programs and catch up as and when you can.
We have 50 million customers across the UK today. They expect speed, quality of service. They also expect that customer-centric approach that they get from the digital native companies.
Virgin Media and O2, both market leaders in everything that they do. Those two coming together have just made a massive supertanker.
The merger happened on 1st of June 2021. Identity became a challenge very quickly.
Bringing two companies together, talking 50,000 users across the estate, we had to find a way to give everybody a new Virgin Media O2 identity.
We needed to put our employees as headpin. If you don't have a great experience, how can we give that great experience to our customers?
The responsibility is huge to get the business working. People want access to everything from day one.
We had 32 identity silos.
We also have 900 plus applications. We have different types of integration with them, so we need different tools.
You cannot turn a supertanker into fleet of speedboat going to the same direction when half of the staff are still belonging to a different identity. By moving people onto Okta, we were able to work as a single organization.
It simplifies everything for everybody.
Doesn't matter where you worked previously, you can access that system through your one Okta credential. It's the miracle cure for everything that we needed to do.
Okta allows us to put protections on legacy applications that don't support modern authentication.
It not only gives us data hygiene in terms of knowing who are the real people in our environment, but also our compliance obligation.
Having that Okta logo on that login screen and remove the need for passwords, it's making everybody's life more secure.
Through the Okta journey, we were able to identify our true identity costs.
The future with Okta is exciting. It will make people's life quick, easy and simple, but give us that security and reassurance in the background.
Without Okta, I have no business. All you need to do is produce the cool experience and the cool product that we need to put in front of our customers. And that butterfly effect happens just like that.
Bless him. I love Fortune. He's really good fun. He's got lots of energy. I mean, that's obviously a workplace identity, right? And in fact, actually, when I was at Ticketmaster, I used Okta with all my customer data, created propensity scores and pen portraits and all this stuff, and I was able to put it behind Okta, so everybody across the business could log in and explore our customers and look at insights and figure out, what to do. It was fantastic. I think the exciting thing for Fortune, because I spoke to him a few weeks ago, is now about saying it's O2 Media, you might have your broadband with Virgin, you might have your phone with O2, your kids might have their phone with giffgaff, because they do that as well, or you might have it with Tesco Mobile. It's now he's going to be able to create one login for all of his sub-brands, right? So I think for those of you that have got sub-brands or sister brands and trying to think about how you deal with all of these different silos of data, that's a really interesting way to be able to unify quickly and understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, Sophie.
Sorry.
Just a time check, because I'm not sure the time on here is accurate. How much time do we have left?
Anyone?
Anyone?
Well, they're all about dead, so I would give us about 5 minutes max.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I think it also showed, and Fortunia is great, because I think it also shows that you really need to collaborate with those other organizations, the IT group, your security group, your development teams, all need to work together as you think through those experiences that you're building. I would like to get to the point where we close this off quite quickly, but I know we want to talk to one more thing. So,
well, this thing about frustration to collaboration, actually, if we go back, I would say that, historically, I don't know, all of you probably have to, and do, I say have to as if it's a terrible onerous task. Everybody deals with technology in their jobs every day. If you're a marketer, you are going to be, I am sure, all of you in this business, reliant on technology teams to help you, right, to implement email tools, or figure out how you're going to do the mobile app, or where the customer data is, how you're going to action it. You know, some of you may be having to go to IT teams and ask them to cut an audience segment for you and then send it to you. Hopefully not in an Excel file, folks, that you can then market to, right? Like, you know, I've met businesses, and some very big businesses, who are really still almost working in Excel files. But I think the thing is, that relationship has to move from frustration to collaboration, right? And I think you know, there's a history of misunderstanding and tension between these teams, right? Because marketers feel tense and irritated that they're not getting what they need to do. They see all these great whizzy things that people do. So I think that relationship has to change and move to collaboration. And I think I had a slide about marketers, but
we've been given a cue to close it off. So again, it's just in closing thoughts, I hope you found this interesting. I hope you see the power that identity has in playing a role in everything that you do from a marketing standpoint. So engage with those cross-functional teams to make that happen. Customer experience really is that new face of marketing, and identity data is that new currency of marketing.
Yeah.
So start with that first right at the beginning and get that experience right. Perhaps most importantly, you need to truly understand your customers, their challenges, their habits, their needs, their goals. That way you can personalize that journey. With that, I'll leave you with this barcode here, and it will take you to some more interesting information on how Okta helps from a marketing perspective.
Thank you very much.
I hope that was good. Thank you.
Thank you.